Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As Hassan साहब ने कहा, मेरा नाम आज़म अरस्तु है. I'm actually from in Los Angeles right now. और obviously Pakistani genes हैं. Left Pakistan more than 50 years ago, 71 के अंदर. So, but and I've been in Europe के अंदर, England में मेरी तालीम हुई है, Imperial College से Masters PhD वहाँ से की है, and have been in America for 35 years, and have been with the Boeing company ever since. So, as Hassan ne kaha, basically my background is space and satellites and all that. I've been doing that for 35 years in various capacities, including chief engineer of Boeing, as well as the vice president for a number of years. Anyway, now it's the time for give back. So last NIB Park 100 ka jo group bana hai, which is basically a group of people, like-minded people like us, who want to give back to Pakistan in a substantial way. Give back to something हम normally पैसे से तो करते हैं, that is the easiest way to do it for education and whole bunch of charitable causes. लेकिन अब ये काम है कि भी हम अपना टाइम दें, इंटेलेक्चुअल कैपिटल पाकिस्तान में इन्वेस्ट करें, ताकि उससे नए पौधे और नए इंडस्ट्रीज एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स शुड ग्रो. सो उसमें ये एक उस सिलसिले की एक कड़ी है. I'm the architect of this whole National Idea Bank, इसका concept of how to create a incubation and startup ecosystem in Pakistan, and where we can have many different ideas flourish, unko kis tarah se from ideas se leke all the way to fruition leke jaye. And this is what made other countries great. This is what made Europe great. So in Pakistan mein talent ki kami nahi hai. The ecosystem, an organized ecosystem collectively jo use kar rahi hai talents all around the world, is kind of missing because of that. We don't have that thing. So basically this is what the goal for this particular idea bank is. And what we are trying to do is in order to develop that whole ecosystem, we are holding a National Idea Bank competition, jisse ke we will actually not only develop our ecosystem, plus at the same time develop a whole bunch of ideas, usko hum proper rigor se leke jaएं, unko all the way from idea to we score them. It just like any idea goes through a normal startup phases. So what is Idea Bank? We were lucky to have to follow on the footsteps of the President of Pakistan's vision to create a globally recognized ecosystem that funds scientific research and commercialize the innovative ideas, especially the emerging technologies, and specifically in the areas that will help solve Pakistan's problems. So that is the key goal. Not to do ideas for the idea's sake, but also look at apne mulk ke jo major issues hain, challenges hain, unko kis tarah resolve kare. So this is a very global mission. So ideas, what are the ideas? Ideas, लोग समझते हैं कि ideas should be big और ऐसे होना चाहिए कि world changing हो, we should be solving the world hunger problem or change the whole world. Not really. If you look around the world, no idea is a bad idea. No idea. Ideas are things which are really, you go around, do what apni daily life can do karte hain. You look around and see, how can I make life better? Is there a better, faster, cheaper way of doing things? Is there a newer way of doing things? When you start thinking along those lines, there is an idea. And then from there you spawn different companies, different products. So in this idea bank, which is where no idea is actually bad idea. It's just the way you approach it and the way how you mature it and you make it. And this is the process that we want to take our young Pakistani entrepreneurs to take this journey through this system. What we are doing is to creating an ideas competition, which is somehow based on our national league kind of a model, where you start off from a city level idea is कि हमारा कोई भी पाकिस्तानी, any part of any remote corner of Pakistan should have equal access to this ideas bank. So we start with all over Pakistan. We have selected 12 host cities which will act as funnels to collect ideas from their local areas. So, and then have a competition between them, which is the phase that we are currently in. This is the phase we are in, where you having the first set of competition entering the 12 cities. And this is the only way you can enter the competition. Once you pass that, once we get through all this ideas, unko score karen, unko compete karen, and then from here we take these ideas, the winners, into the provincial level. From provincial level, these winners will go into the national level. So what we have done is also for the first year, like this time, we have we have narrowed down about 6 sectors where we will try to focus our ideas in and run them through this program. And then we hope to then replicate this model every year, or maybe twice a year, for our different sectors. So but first of all, we are city level. So the question is now, which cities? What we've done is we've taken the entire Pakistan. इस पूरे पाकिस्तान को हमने strategically divide कर दिया 12 cities के अंदर. And this was roughly divided based on your population. This is not an exact science, but roughly we want to make sure, and we ended up that in Punjab, we had 4 major cities. Sindh, we had 3 major cities, KPK 2. Islamabad and federal areas ko humne ek lump kiya hua hai, all one together. Isme Balochistan 1 and Balochistan and Kashmir. So basically, I mean, although Pakistan officially 5 provinces, but for this purposes, it comes to roughly 6 kind of provinces. Now, just we'll go into provincial side. Now, these host cities, iska ye matlab nahi, for example, if somebody coming from Sakkar, ज़रूरी नहीं है कि सक्खर के जो शहरी हैं वो उसमें enter करें. Anybody who is around Sakkar can enter from this. But the goal is these cities are the funnel cities, and through them all ideas will be collected and go into the next stage. And we, at this stage, I would recognize and thank all these city hosts who have worked really very well. And we have formed a team where they've done a remarkable job collating and putting this whole thing together and popularizing this whole system. So it is, again, really remarkable job that all these universities have done. Acha, timeline. This process started almost 6-8 months ago. A lot of work has gone. So, but the call of ideas came in. We started the program, and the first call of ideas was done September 27th. We actually launched it. Actually, the program was launched by the president in February this year. We put the whole plan together, and we finally launched the collection of ideas started on 27th of September. Right now, we are in the phase of collecting all those ideas, and then the last day of submit ideas will be November 7th. Dates are actually because of format have got messed up, but I will show this again to you. Last date of submitting ideas is November 7th, and the city competitions will be held in this 3rd week of November, between 22nd to 28th, 22nd to 26th. And we are in this phase right now, and all you volunteer judges, first of all, thank you all कि आपने अपना कीमती वक्त निकाला है और इस project में शामिल हुए. We will be requiring your services in this area because ये ideas collect हो रहे हैं, and very soon we will be able to give it to you to score them, and then they'll be presented at the city level, and from there these winners will go into provincial level competition and national level, and the provincial level will be the first 2 weeks of December, and the last 2 weeks will be the national level. So I'll go into more detail of this timeline later. So prizes. All of you आप पाकिस्तान में हैं और दुनिया भर में very senior positions पे आपने काम किया हुआ, and you recognize कि इसकी the price in rupees is really not the main thing. That is really a token of appreciation. The main prize is to take that idea and इनको हम present करें in front of this top-notch. All of you who are today judges will hopefully tomorrow become mentors and guides, and इनको हम and then present them to CEOs, ministers, financiers, lawyers, तमाम उनके साथ रह के, and इनको give them an opportunity to actually take that concept into an idea, to a company, to a product, to a process, to a service. And the goal is to launch all these companies, 100% Pakistanis in Pakistan, registered in Pakistan, for solving Pakistan's issue. So that is the biggest gift, that not gift, this is the biggest thing that we have to give back as a senior people who have taken so much from our beloved country. So this is the prize that we talk about. Again, we have still been collecting about some money, token as 2.5 million rupees. Iske saath, then they will be given admission to the largest digital incubation platform, plus access to 100 accelerator programs. Plus we also hold boot camps and all other facilities which will be used. That is a huge benefit for these budding entrepreneurs. So let's now get into the nitty-gritty of how can you help? How can you judge the ideas and how do you evaluate them in a way which is consistent and across the board, or so uske liye what we have got to do is to look at how the ideas were submitted. And so I'll go a little bit more into the way this idea can be submitted by any Pakistani of any age, any qualification, any gender, living anywhere in the world. So the only restriction is that they should have love for this flag. Okay, Pakistani ho, of Pakistani origin ho, that's it. But it can be no age barrier, no qualification barrier, no gender barrier, no geographical barrier. In fact, we are proactively making sure that we break all these barriers for this purpose. This is purely an exercise to develop entrepreneurship. That's it. And as I said earlier, the ideas must be submitted in at least in this one sector that we have defined for this particular round. It doesn't mean to say that's all. We will keep doing the second round. We'll have different sectors and so on. But for this round, it will be the 6 sectors that we've defined. And must we select one particular city? Agar wo city mein aap nahi hai, aap take the nearest city. If you're living abroad, you take your home city. Bahral, there's plenty of flexibility isme ke kahan se aap kare. One of the biggest questions that keeps coming up, how do I protect my idea? So the protection is, this whole information will be collected in a very secure site, and it'll be collected and is based on MIT Solve standards. So it makes sure कि जो है, whenever somebody enters the idea, they are given a unique ID. So entering the idea itself is an act of protecting idea, because somehow in a big registry, you have entered your idea with a number, which is date stamped and time stamped. So at least you'll have something to show कि मैंने इस दिन यहाँ पर अपना idea submit किया, and this is my proof. So that's exactly what I was telling about the security part, where this database is also fully SSL encrypted, and we will do everything possible to make sure the idea is secure and And so far, even in IDJ's platform for the last 8 years, there has been not a single incident where there has been any issue of any kind. So please rest assured the ideas are safe. Judges, this is where आप लोग सब हैं, and so this is basically an esteemed group of about 250 to 300 judges. Right now we have 250, but we're still growing. We will reach to at least 300 of very experienced people. Obviously, you've not only you're experts in your field, you have done a lot of you are either from academia, industry, you have mostly likely formed companies or worked with companies or major corporations. So you know how these major corporations and these companies work in various capacities, maybe a technical firm, maybe financial, maybe marketing, maybe legal, and all that is required to build the ecosystem. And you can be the perfect help and guide to these young entrepreneurs. So if you just look at just 300 people with maybe 25 years or 30 years experience, you're collectively talking about good 4,000 years of collective professional experience, which is an enormous capital, which we can tap into. And all of you will be committing a few hours, so about 8 to 10 hours through the entire process. So if you're talking about 3,000 hours of your time, very high caliber people, look at the power this brings to the table. So with any judges, there has to be some code of conduct. So we want to make this process completely independent, completely impartial. So there should be no political influence, no idea contribution directly or indirectly. So any of the judges cannot be participant or contributory to the idea, because that will be conflict of interest. Obviously, no immediate family members that you will be judging to. आपके family members हैं, but the judge आपको जो pool of portfolio of ideas मिलेगा, we will make sure कि जो इसमें you'll have no conflict of interest. So we want to make sure the process is completely transparent, completely fair. So उसके लिए हमने ये किया कि all हमारी organizing team है, we've also kind of disqualified ourselves from being a judge, because they should not be even a resemblance of any kind of conflict. So before we start, we'll also send you some disclosure of a conflict of interest form, which you'll sign like a Google form to make sure that there is no conflict of interest of any kind. And obviously there should be no direct, indirect benefits from the contestants. So usual stuff, nothing complicated, but I just wanted to share. We are very cognizant of the conflict of interest and the code of conduct, and we'll abide by this very seriously. From this 3,300 pool of judges, as I said earlier, it's a multi-level competition starting from city. And not only that, we are starting with 6 sectors. And so what we have to do is out of this pool, we'll be creating panels of 3 judges each, and each panel that will be specific to one particular sector and one particular city. So from now onwards, we will be in that process. Najam, Dr. Najam actually is championing this whole, how do we parse this big pool and isko kis tarah se carefully manage into panels and so on. So we will be hearing more from him on that. So if you divide the 6, as I said, because of 12 cities, 6 sectors, you end up to almost 72 panels in the 12 cities. So of three judges each will be doing that. And we'll be repeating the similar model at the provincial level and at the national level. So similarly, at the provincial level, we'll end up with 30 panels, and you will, each one of you will be assigned to a unique panel, which will at any given time for a city, for a sector, and then we move on from there. अब आते हैं the main part of how do we score the ideas, because ideas will be coming from vast backgrounds, vast levels of maturity, education, diversity. So we have to have a common way of scoring it. So we've brainstormed a lot of scoring criteria, and we have come up with these 10 criteria on which to score each idea with. Again, these are very generic. You can do that with any particular technology, whether it's in software or hardware or a service or a product or a process, anything. You can still, all these criteria can still be applicable to any of that. So what we've also done is to weight this, give a maximum weighting to each one of those criteria, that, you know, for example, kisi communication skill badi achhi ho, that should not overwhelm his overall idea. Somebody has got a very good idea, but it does not have a lot of depth into it. So what we have done is to put a maximum score for each of these. For example, originality and creativity. We have put maximum 15 points. No matter how good it is, that can only be this much, 15 points. Where the other part is relevance and significance to addressing the national problem. 6 sectors हैं. उस sectors को हमने, we also went ahead and we defined what are the key challenges in this sector. For example, in education sector, what are the key challenges in education sector? We have publicized it. All the entrepreneurs know that हमारा वो problem statement है क्या. Similarly in e-commerce, similarly in agriculture. So we have given highest points, 20 points, into showing how relevant is that idea solving that particular issue. And I will go into the details of how each one of them in the next few charts. Idea maturity level, same thing, 15 points. Idea, is it patented, protected, 10 points. Again, even by saying yes, it shows the idea is that much mature. फिर ये कि एक idea तो है, but do you have any idea to how we mature it, how we take it to the next level, into developing prototypes and testing it, into productizing it. So, you know, the more thought you put into it, the more points you can score. Here, of course, communication, no matter how good an idea is, if you cannot communicate, it's useless. So communication skills are absolutely important. Here, then you go into the areas like, is an idea bankable? Kitna acha bhi idea ho, but if you can't take it to a bank and raise funds, it's going to die right up there. So uske liye we need points. And but then in the few charts, coming charts, I'll tell you what do we mean by each one of them. Here, business plan developed. What is, you know, have you put any thought to any business plan? Here, what about idea partners? Have you identified any partners for technology maturation and productization, etc.? And finally, is the idea scalable to full production levels? So that's the general scoring from each one of them, and maximum 100. So this will help each one of you score the idea better. So now let me just go very quickly to each one of these categories, very quickly. So idea, originality, and creativity, 15 points. Here, what we're looking for is really the originality of the concept, how novel, creative. It could be a totally new concept, or it could be a new application of a concept, or it could be a new design, a novel design of an existing application. Somebody already made a widget, but then you have found a better way of making the same widget. So that's a better way that's a new idea. Or it could be a novel process of making this existing tasks faster, better, cheaper. So as I said, every idea doesn't have to be a product. It could be any one of this. And you'll be looking for innovation, thought, vision, and things like that. Similarly, relevance to the technology sectors. Right now, as I said, we have selected these 6 sectors: agriculture, construction, education, e-commerce, natural resources, and health. This is for the first round. Inshallah, next year, we'll take the next 6 sectors and so on, and repeat this process every year, maybe twice a year. So here we're looking for what is the extent of impact on any of the sector they've selected. For example, maybe domain of impact, whether impact is national level, provincial level, city level, community level. Then you can also look at the financial impact. It can generate $10 of revenue, or 10 million, or it can change a huge benefit to the national level. Then you can also look at the benefits to the national economy. Potential job creation. It could be is a job creator. It can we reduce our reliance on foreign exchange doing this? Can we helps us standing on our own feet? So these are huge benefits to. In every dollar saved for import is a dollar earned. So that is I would give high points to getting ourselves away from foreign exchange dependence. And then potential for international business opportunity. So as I said, आप लोग जज करेंगे कि ये आइडिया का इसका influence कितना हो सकता है, right? This is the highest scoring category, 20 points. Then idea maturity level. Maturity level is it's difficult to define, but as all of you have been working in various fields, this is an issue, happens all the time. So there are internationally recognized scales. One of them is called technology readiness levels. This is what is used in US, basically in NASA and defense departments and so on. But it's a very good level. It shows TRL1 is basically a concept with nothing done. And then as you mature it, you build something, you write it down, you sketch something up, you go to laboratory, you build from prototypes, and you do some testing. As you go through those phases, you go up to the full. TRL line is actually product built, tested in the flight and the actual real environment. So you will be able to judge the maturity level based on something like this scale. I'm not saying exactly this, because depending whether it's a software item, whether it's a service, whether it's a process, you may have to use something along this scale to do this. And there are equivalent scales like this for TRL, for process, for manufacturability, and so on. So we can do that too. But again, this is an important criteria, because people think, I've got an idea, but it depends where you are. And actually, the most expensive part is to take you from a TRL1 and TRL2 to TRL6. That is where most 90% ideas die, because this journey taking out from low TRL to high level TRL requires tremendous amount of thought, research, resources, testing, prioritization, and so on. So the higher up you go, the better the chance of this product really surviving. So this will be a good category to judge on. Then protection of ideas. So of course, every idea that will be submitted here will have a unique NIB ID, so it will be protected in that respect. But we would highly encourage them to go to whichever country they live in, whatever process, whatever product they have, is to file for some kind of patent. And then we'll support them and help them, guide them to this. But again, and this should not stop anybody submitting an ideas. This is just to see agar kisi ka hai. It's good to know, because that also already shows it has gone through how mature it is. You've put a tremendous amount of thought into it. So again, 10 points for this. And again, you should be looking for all these kind of things to see how much score you can give it to each one of them. This next part is, how do you mature that particular technology, process, product, whatever? Have you thought through the next phases of kis tarah se isko mature karenge. And the term that we normally use is TMMRR, which is technology maturation risk reduction. Basically, maturation phase is risk reduction phase. So uske liye, is there a plan? Is there a risk reduction plan, an engineering integration plan, a life cycle reduction plan, cost reduction? So some things like that. And goal is to see, have they, the entrepreneur, have they thought through any other elements besides the basic thing that they've come up with? So the higher up, the more detail they put in, the more marks they get. That's basically the point. So this plan, basically a good plan buys down the technical financial risks and develop sufficient understanding of the idea by, building and testing system prototypes and defining requirements and developing system baseline. So typically, if somebody has an idea that how to advance up to TRL 6, I would think they deserve 10 points, because if you can go up to TRL 6, if you show a plan, generally speaking, that is, you've got a pretty decent plan. So beyond that is actual operations. And this is just one sample of the kind of things you put into that. Communication skill, as I said, that's extremely important. So no matter how good an idea is, it is useless if it cannot be communicated to others. So if I have something in my mind, if I cannot communicate to somebody else, the idea will die in my mind. So all entrepreneurs, they have to communicate with others, other parts, other team members, society, and be able to convince other people, financiers, they have to communicate to a lot of people. And if you cannot communicate properly, it's gone, it's dead. So we've put 10 points here, and please judge them for communication skills. It could be either individual entrepreneur, or we are encouraging them to build a team. So it's a team's communication skill. And for clarity of thought, they have to have very clear thought process. If we can't have clear thought process, you can't communicate. Written communications, oral, effective use of the media, and of course, presentation skills. So yeah, please judge this. So you will be able to judge this particular category both before and after. You'll have first the written text of the idea, then you will select, shortlist them based on that. Then you will actually see a presentation. You will be able to see all presentation skills, and then update your scores accordingly. So then the next thing is the idea bankable? As I said, to produce any idea to productize any idea will require resources, time, and money. Resources could be people, facilities, money, a whole bunch of things. Also, it requires time and money. For that, you have to go out and get help for resources. You need to get more time. You need money. So you should be able to sell your idea to some investor. So if you cannot sell an idea to an investor, you will not get the money, and hence again the product will die. So this is the area you judge. Okay, is that idea, the concept, how bankable it is, how much money, is there a way you can attract investors, and you can then grade them based on how attractive it is. They have made it for investors to come in and say, yeah, I'm ready to pitch in so many rupees and help you productize it. So that's again an important thing. Next is development of business plan. Again, here we're looking for some ideas to be, if I'm a technologist, technical part is only one component. How do I take that technical part into a business? How do we make a company or a process out of it? So again, we look for, is there a business plan in there? Again, by the way, all these items, when you get the package, each of these questions will be answered by the entrepreneur themselves. And they all know what the maximum numbers are, and they will be answering these specific questions independently, and you will be judging your scores based on their answers. So you will have to just check how much scores can you give in depending on, if I have put my business plan and you really like it, I've got covered most of the elements, you'll give me 5 points. But I don't, if I leave my business plan place blank, I deserve a 0. So that's the point we are trying to show here. And again, this is for you to help. What kind of things are we looking for in a business plan? Typical things. Business plan, because also you need a marketing plan. And so is the plan developed? Is it documented? Is it sufficiently detailed to include the key elements? And is the plan effective and operational? Then partners, have they even, nothing can be done individually anywhere in the world. You have to have partnerships. You got to have people. You got to build a team. You are only one piece of a puzzle. You have to build a team. Everybody comes in with different skills. They all bring something unique to the table. So how can you build an effective team where you bring the best out of capabilities of individual people to make a product, a process, or whatever you're trying to do a successful thing. So in this category, you'll be judging have they thought through this item? Have they got a partner? Have they identified a partner? Is that partner, is that the right kind of thing? Have they really thought through it? Or yeah, main apne uncle, mamu, bhatije ko le liya just because that is not, that could work, but to develop a business, everybody should bring something unique to the table. And again, have they approached to the partners? Have they identified it? Have they talked to them? Are there any relationships which are formalized? So again, this is just some points here to help you think through how much points you can give to this. And lastly, scalability. Any business, you're making it one doesn't cut the metal. You become a prototype and you start. But the thing is, you should be able to make money and do things and be able to scale your idea from small prototype to large full production and then go beyond. So scalability is another key area. So scalability is another area you should be looking for. And basically, when you start from small to big, there's a concept completely breaks down. It is not scalable. Then what's the max. There's a maximum amount of money you can generate in this, and that's not a good thing. It's an important, but we have only kept 5 points for this, just to make sure they are thinking through it. It's an important criteria. So these are the basic 10 criteria. Now, how do we score them? What we do is, when you see the form, so when you get the scoring form will actually walk you through. You will get your specific form, and you select. You will be assigned the particular portfolio of ideas. You select those ideas with a certain name, and automatically unka pura idea will come to you on that form in each of those categories, and they've answered those specific questions of each of those categories. And all you have to do, here's a dummy thing. I'm a judge. For example, Karachi section mein, I take this one, for example, national resources. And then sector select ho jayega. Actually, you will get isme then the idea, this is slightly older, the version is much better, where you have idea, and the idea will come in, then a number of ideas in that particular sector will come in, and then what you do is with the name, and then you go item by item and take each particular case, and you say, okay, this, for example, originality, I would give in this case 9 points in your judgment. Here, relevance to this particular addressing national problem, you read through his write-up and say, I think he deserves 13 points. So you put your score directly into this form, and automatically scores will go into our database. So you try to automate this process as much as possible and take the pain out of you. Okay, you don't need to create forms, write this thing, send emails. No, everything is done there and then. Apne review kiya, score kiya. Scoring के लिए भी will give you all the इसमें scoring के जो will try to put as much benefits, ease of scoring possible in this. We will put tools in this to make sure your scoring is easy, and you're done. So all your scores go up straight into our website. So this is the second. Again, you can see the next page going to relevance, idea maturity level, idea pattern, the same categories. And we have also made sure, okay, for example, scalability, there is no way you can give them more than 5 because maximum numbers are 5. So the maximum scores in each category are protected by the scores. So, and once you're done, you submit, you're basically, your scoring is done. Here, what we'll do, we will collect, we'll look at this thing, and I'll come to the next part on this. So we will eventually will have, we already at this point have about 600 ideas in the pipeline. We're expecting that to go up to 2,000 or maybe 4,000 very soon. So there'll be a lot of ideas, but you will only get 10, 15 ideas that will come into your portfolio. We will get it, we'll provide that to you by second week of November. So I hope you can see that you've tried to make it sounds very complicated, but we tried to make it as simple as possible, as automated as possible, because we do value your time, and we want to make use of your time most effectively. Acha, the process kya hoga? How do we take those scores and move on? So basically, the process is going to be like this. We will get, as I said, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, depending on, we'll have a lot of ideas, and then we'll have a lot. So what we will do is, before we even give any ideas to you, we will perform a basic quality check. And this we will do, and make sure any of the really low quality submittals we'll just screen them out right in front, so we don't waste any of your precious time in looking into that time. We only give you the selected in terms that they are at least they've got enough material to judge to. So they've gone through basic quality checks. So quality checks will go through preliminary. Then there'll be a preliminary assessment, and that preliminary assessments, what we do is, the quality checks, the things which have been dropped, even before they're actually dropped, we'll still go through to make sure a second set of eyes look into that. We don't want to drop any idea which is without at least two or three eyes looking into it, again, to make the process fair. But so even this is still pre-screening. And if you find, even after looking into it, now this doesn't even come anywhere near it, let's not waste time with, so we'll drop them. Then what we'll do is, we will in this pre-phase paper, then you'll get a set of ideas to judge. You look through them, and usme say, then what you will say, okay, I got all these ideas which are good. I want to see, we will shortlist 12 of them to go for presentation types. So in this pre-assessment, you will do the shortlisting, and out of the, say, 20 ideas, you'll say, I need these 12, we will be going, I want to listen to them. I want to see a presentation. So others won't even meet the presentation cut. Usme, there is a chance that there could be a tie. So again, we have put a process together as to how to do a tie break pre-presentation. Then you see the presentations. Again, each presentation, again, we value the time. And entrepreneurs, they don't get 2 hours to present an idea. They will be given 5 minutes total, 3 minutes presentations, 2 minutes questions and answers. Like a elevator pitch, slightly more than an elevator pitch. They have to be very precise, to the point, come, talk, and as if you are bankers or you're investors, they have to convince you that their idea is the best. So again, it's going to be very well carefully managed. 5 minutes max, 3 minutes presentation, 2 questions and answers, done. So you'll see the presentations, and then again, you'll be readjusting your scores and making, because every time I've done that, I've seen my scores have changed dramatically after presentations. So we will rescore them. There might be a possibility of tiebreakers there too. So we have developed a process to make sure those tiebreaks are also put together. And basically that's done. And then you say, you give a final scores, and your job is done for city level. And we'll post them. That's where they will all go for city awards, presentation awards, whatever, and we'll do that. And so that is basically the process. Now, again, very quickly, I will not spend too much time here. Each time, quality check, this will be performed basically by the NIB team. We will not waste your time, your precious time in doing this. Basically, is to remove the really anything which is really inappropriate. It's not enough. It's kind of garbage, really low. This doesn't have enough category. So we'll filter them out. This will be done from November 9th to 14th. It will be done basically by the Park 100 team network. And we're basically looking for missing information. It'll make any basic sanity check. Does it make even sense? If it does not, it'll be thrown out. And somebody can say, well, I want to open a shop, or I want to create a school. That is not an idea. So anything like that will also be thrown away. Then the pre-assessment will be done by the judges panel, starts from November 15th and November 19th. So the presentations will be November 22nd. So 3 days before the presentations, you would finish this. Basically, time commitment we request will be about 1 hour. And you do it in your own time. Everything will be done virtual. So you can do this all in any time, whatever time zone you're in, whatever time you're comfortable on. We require at least just about 1 hour of your precious time for this particular task. And you please submit your results by 19th. And these results will be to shortlist 12 presentations that they will come in on and present on between 22nd and 26th. And here you score after reading the package. Then the tie breaks before the presentations. It'll be judges done by you, who the judge panel will break the tie, score them by talking amongst yourselves, figure out what's the way to do it. And by November 20th, you should give us a clean list of who are your top 12 people who you would want to invite for presentation. Again, this time commitment is no more than an hour. And it could be done between the 3 judges, either yourself, or you can make a Zoom meeting or phone, whatever, between you. And then our team, NIB team, will be available to support, help in any of this process at any time. Similarly, now on the presentation times, this is, of course, the entrepreneurs are pitching to you. That's your primary time where you're actually sitting through their presentations. Again, limited to 5 minutes each max. And you're listening to this, and then you're looking at your ideas, scores that you've already done, and you're then will be adjusting your scores based, and also you would have a chance to actually question and answer to them, and you'll get much better understanding of what they're doing. And then spend the 2 to 3 minutes after the presentations to caucus amongst yourselves to judge your scores better. This is the primary part of the judging process. And again, what will be done, like for example, आप हैं पेशावर में. What we will try to do is we'll try in the next 2-3 weeks, we will be very careful, try to see if you are in Peshawar, we will try to see if we can get you in the panel in Peshawar, because that way you can actually physically go there if possible. If not, if you're sitting in, for example, in England or in California or in New York or Saudi Arabia, we can do this, but we have made sure for that presentation time, will have virtual access to the presentations. So you can judge it either physically or virtually, but you will be seeing those presentations. And these entrepreneurs, again, will be pitching to you. You are the primary audience. They want to convince that they are the best. So this will happen during November 22nd and 27th, and you will be given clear times and so on for that particular event. There will be, in most cases, tie breaks even after the presentations. So you can caucus amongst yourselves after the presentations, and then finally select 1, 2, and 3, top 3. So that's generally the process. Timelines. Overall timeline for the project, as I said, we started off early this year, but then whole of this year went to developing this whole process. Call of ideas started November 27th, and this process will continue till 8th of November. 8th of November is the cutoff time. That's the deadline. This is the big date that's coming through. City presentations, 26th, 22nd to 27th November. Where provincial in the first 2 weeks of December. National is second 2 weeks of December, and the final. So that's the overall timeline. Again, deadline for submittal, 8th of November, key date. Timeline specific for aap logon ke liye, what kind of things that we need. For example, let me remind you, November 1st to 8th, we will judges assigned to panels. We are doing that process is going to start now. And this event today was to bring all of you on board. Ye process hai kya? And again, if you have any feedback, again, we are doing this for the first time. We are learning this whole process. And hopefully once this process is done, we can keep repeating this model with a better and with an improved model every time. So your system chalta rahe, and we'll come and go, but the system should continue. And we create more and more companies and use, so that's what the goal is. So then between November 8th to November 9th to 10th, the judges RSVPs will be received. Make sure all the panels that we've put together, we please confirm that you will be available for this particular times and dates. And then you will be given a portfolio of ideas for the pre-judgments. So the pre-assessments will go on during this time. Presentations will go on between 22nd to 27th. The city events are the same days. That's when the presentations will be. And then 29th, judges will be assigned to provincial panels, then RSVPs for provincial level. December 3rd to 4th for provincial presentations, and similarly for December, provincial events will go on this time, and the national events, and then the final event. So that's overall timeline for this phase. So I went through fast, but I think I hopefully gave an overview of what this whole game is about, and aapke commitments kya honge, how and what the scoring criteria is. What do we mean by those scoring criteria? How will you be getting those ideas? How will you score them? What kind of form? How do we automate? And all the checks, balances. So here I will stop talking, and I think it's time to take questions from any one of you.